Welcome, this is Incognito, and today we'll be talking about my favourite Battlefield weapons. I'm joined with my friend today, Antron, and he's going to discuss his favourite weapon as well, along with the stats on what he thinks of it, the pluses and the minuses of the weapon that he uses. Before this starts, all I want to say is this is just an opinion. So what you can see, guys, is the weapon being held by my friend Antron, and I am the one looking at the weapon going around smoothly, and he's the one shooting it, so you can get an idea of the weapon and the way it sounds and so on and forth. Now moving on, I am going to introduce you to Antron now. You're going to hear him talk about the sweeper, what he thinks of it, the pluses, the minuses to the weapon. He's also going to give you the stats to the weapon as well. So let's move on, and I introduce Antron.
Right, so I'm going to be talking about the stats and the positive and negatives and my general thoughts of this gun. So this, the M1 907 SL sweeper is one of three. You can get the trench variation, the sweeper, and the factory. All of them cost 200 war bonds to unlock. The sweeper is you can unlock at rank 0, which is good for anyone coming into the game like me and hasn't played it a lot. The factory is rank 1 and the trench is rank 2. So real quick, I'm just going to go over the specifications of the gun, and I'm going to talk about its counterparts as well. There's not too much difference on most of them, but I'll be going through them now. So the sweeper has a 37 damage, which totals up to 3 bullets to kill someone. With all 3 of them hit points together being put together would be 111. So if you get 3 bullets on target, it's more than enough to kill anyone. The accuracy is 48, the hip fire is 32, which I wouldn't suggest using on the gun because that's pretty low, unless you're in a CQB scenario where you had to pre-fire around a corner because you knew an enemy was there. The control is 64 because it has a foregrip on the gun, which I believe its counterparts doesn't. And the rate of fire is 300, which in the medical class is pretty bog standard. And the clip size is 21 as well, being one of the highest out of the medic class as well. So the differences between the sweeper and its counterparts are that hip fire on the trench is higher. It's actually 53. This is probably because when you're moving from trench to trench, you're not really going to have enough time to aim down your sight. So the gun's fashioned around trench warfare, making it a lot easier, to stay in fast motion when you're moving from trench to trench, so it makes sense. The sweeper sounds like it would be a CQB weapon, but obviously it has a foregrip and the control's really high, so this is for more, mid to long range engagements. And the factory's control is just, it's the same as the trench, it's not too high, but apart from that, there's not too much. I think the factory's probably the worst out of all of them. So I went through a few of the positives, I'll just run over them again. So the sweeper has a foregrip, good control. You need to be rank 0, which is good for anyone coming in, like I said. And the ammo clip is, I would say it's a high cap magazine, because obviously there is quite a few rounds in there, so it is good for that as well. I'm really quick just going to run over the negatives. Negatives being mainly the hip fire, because personally I haven't had many situations where I've had to use the hip fire on a weapon, unless I'm either laying down suppressive fire stupidly for some reason, or if you're pre-firing around a corner, which I haven't had to do much. So it doesn't really matter, but again, the hip fire is pretty poor on it, so I wouldn't suggest using that. And another thing is, when you're moving with the weapon, if you're aiming down the sight, the bullets will spray everywhere, which is expected from most weapons, but with the foregrip, I don't know if it dampens it, because I've used other weapons and I feel it's just the same, so I don't feel like the foregrip when moving doesn't really help much. So overall, I would suggest the weapon to anyone coming in if they were, to partake in the medic role. I think it's a decent weapon, especially for someone rank 0. The only thing is, again, the hip fire, and that's the only downfall I can really think about, so I would really suggest this weapon to anyone coming in.
Okay guys, so that was Antron explaining what he thinks of the sweeper medic weapon in Battlefield 1. If you've enjoyed today, please hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button, and if you want to stay tuned for more content, hit the bell as well. That's been it, thanks for watching, goodbye.